you got the point that is, kind of taking my sleep away. That's not actually taking my sleep, but this launching operation, because that's basically what the United States use as an excuse to launch operations all
Yes.
over the world. Oh, you have terrorists there, you
Yeah.
have terrorists here, then I have to go there and do something. Because this comes to my next question, and this is the exactly connection that I wanted to establish to get to this next question. That US has been talking to some Brazilian departments about reestablishing bases, military bases in Brazil, namely Fernando de Noronha, which is an island complex on the Atlantic, and Natal, which is north of Brazil. Uh, well, they claim historical rights and all that. And the things that I have noticed, well, some months ago, former President Bolsonaro, which is probably going to be candidate for the next elections as well, or someone related to him, has been talking about putting American bases, North American bases, in the tri-point border. Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just this week, there's been some news in Brazil, especially CNN, of course. We have CNN Brazil. We are that smart. That Hezbollah has a lot of activities, and they are probably using terrorist group Hezbollah has a lot of activities in the tri-point border with connections to PCC, which is one of the drug dealing groups that I mentioned before, the first Capital Command. And there's also now a $10 million reward on Hezbollah news in Brazil. They just freed $10 million from Al Jalani. So now they're putting on Hezbollah in Brazil. Do you think this is how do you see it? I don't want to drive the question.
Well, look, Hezbollah's had a presence there in Ciudad del Este, but they live in Brazil.
We already talked about that.
Yeah, they live in Brazil, for Christ's sake. Okay, they don't live in Paraguay; they live in Brazil. When you go down to the tri-border area, I forget the name of the city that's just across into Brazil from Ciudad del Este, but it's got
Foz do Iguaçu.
The Foz do Iguaçu. Okay. But they've got the biggest damn cargo airport in the world. I mean, it's enormous, because the free trade zone that's there in Ciudad del Este, it has everything. And in contrast to, say, the Colón Free Trade Zone, which sits at the north end of the Panama Canal, well, naturally, you got all these ships coming through. They got a way to transport the merchandise. How the hell do you get all that merchandise that far up into Brazil, Paraguay, without, you can't do it by boat, can't do it by train, you can do it by vehicle, which is very costly. They fly it in. Massive cargo airport. So, Hezbollah has had a presence there. They have, but they've not been carrying out a campaign of terror. They are believed to have been implicated 30 some years ago in the attacks on the Israeli embassy in Buenos Aires, and then Cultural Center. There were 2 attacks. But would they have ties into these other groups? Potentially, yeah. Like I said, go into that free trade zone. Look at the products that are being sold. The companies are selling them to them. Yeah, but these are, these are family networks that are throughout Ciudad del Este. In fact, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Just to give you an example, I charted this out several years ago on the family networks down in Central America. So if you go into Colón, free trade zone in Panama, then you find that brothers, aunts, cousins, second cousins, they're all family relationships are also in Maicao, Colombia. They're in Ciudad del Este, and they're in Iquique over in Chile. So, and then they've got their family members go back to Africa and to the Middle East. So, it's just it's a like Sly and the Family Stone saying, it's a family affair. Yeah, I can't find it right offhand. I'll pull it up. I'll send it to you at some point because
I'll edit and put on the screen on the cuts that I do later.
Yeah, I mean it's fascinating when you go through and see all these. Oh wait, here it is. Let me pull this up. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, because I remember we already talked about these stories that you mentioned, the Marlboro Man, and the families, the diaspora on the
Okay,
Tripoint.
so here's this Muslim Arab community in Panama. You got the Waqed family. Abdul Muhammad Waqed owns a big, major free trade, duty free stores. And then the family Hachem, Ahmed Saeed Ali Hachem, Nidal Akram Hachem. Then the Sakir family, Ali Yusuf Sakir Darwich, Omais, Ibrahim Mohammed Omais. And there also in the family was a guy named Ahmed Mohammed bin Laden. So that was Panama. Then you go down to Isla Margarita. I forgot about Isla Margarita in Venezuela. Hey, guess what? You got Ali Mohammed Darwich. You got another Darwich. You got the Omais family. Then you pick up on the Nasiruddin family, the Hassan family, the Osman family. That's Isla Margarita. Go to the Maicao, Colombia. There you got the Waqeds, the Hachems, the Sakirs, the Omais, and Barakat, Hassan Omar. So you get, new families. And then down to Paraguay. Waqed, Hassan Waqed, Hachem, Omais, Barakat. Okay, see what I'm saying? These are family networks, dude. They're not so much, this is where Western intelligence is in its stupidity. Oh, this is Hezbollah. Yeah, Hezbollah is just sort of an ancillary. This is family. This is blood.
Yeah, I remember the talk that we had. I remember you telling me not the names. This is new, but I remember you telling me these stories, and I was like, so why are they pulling Hezbollah? Yeah, we know we have it's a political group, isn't it?
It's to go after Iran. This is all ultimately about going after Iran. And the notion that the United States wants to build another military base overseas. Yeah, we only have 752. We need another one. We don't have enough.
Well, at least in Brazil, you have good beaches. Beaches, sand, water, not the other ones.
Playa.
La playa.
So, it is the United States is trying to they keep running around looking for a mission to keep themselves relevant because there's pressure basically to get rid of Southcom. You got these regional sinks, the commander in chiefs of these different European theater, and then you've had Latin America or Southern Command, which encompassed Central America, South America. Mexico was kept in what was called Northern Command, and there's some thought, let's just call it, America to command and unite it all, but who knows?